Hey guys, I just woke up from napping and I wanted to share something really, it was quite intense, but it was cool and I'm thankful for it. And I just want to share it because this can be a part of this ascension process. And, again, I just know that there's a part of me, at least. I know there's a part I can feel actually right now. There's a part of me that might have been scared to hear about this, but I also know there's a part of me that would have appreciated knowing about this stuff as I first hit my awakening. So I want to share it with you guys and just kind of let you know that this could be a part of your process as well. And if it is, it's normal and kind of what this stuff is. So um, I had been, this avatar body had been asleep, and I was in another simulation, dream, dimension, whatever you want to call it, which is all connected. Like it's all layered, like it's all not even layered, it's all mixed in together. Like it's all connected, it's all one, right? Like it's not, nothing's actually separate, which is a side note. But anyway, so I can't quite remember exactly what I was dreaming, what was happening in that other simulation, whatever you want to call it. The only thing that's really clear that I remember is I started running off from wherever I had been. I almost feel like I was maybe upset with someone or sad. I just remember I was trying to run, and it was outside, and I was running down a sidewalk, and I hit like a corner, and I remember like bending my knees and jumping upwards and pushing my hands down, which is how I often, when I'm go to hover and fly, in other simulations or whatever you want to again call it, I tend to just push my hands downwards, which almost like it's almost like I'm utilizing the pressure of the air to push myself up, and then I fly off. And so this time I decided apparently to bend my knees and jump up and push my hands down, which helped me actually that helped me get up in the air faster. Um, Anyway, I just realized that. um, so and then all of a sudden, all I remember is I'm awake in this at the same time. Like I'm awake in this at the same time. It's feels very ethereal and very trippy. Um, I remember feeling, see, because my memories are a little blurred before it gets to where things were solid. So this part's a little like a little blurred. I remember hovering upwards, and I remember thinking about how this is exactly how it feels in other simulations when I'm hovering, flying. This is what it feels like. This is really cool. Um, so I remember that. And then the next thing I know, I get, oh yeah, and that was just it too. And then I was getting like, I've been getting this feeling of like brain zaps again lately, what I call brain zaps. And it almost feels like my brain's being zapped, and it feels like it's flipping around in my head. Um, which very similar to when I used to, years ago, I used to be on antidepressants, and I had like, I know you're not supposed to. Um, which again, talking like honestly, like if you're on them and you want off, like talk with your doctor. I'll never say not to. I did what you're not recommended to do, and I took myself off. And I just remember like in like withdrawal with it, like my brain would feel like it was zapping and flipping in my head. And that's been starting again lately, but I don't take medication. Once in a while I might take some Advil or Tylenol or Pepto if I'm really not feeling good and I'm struggling with doing my shadow work, or I'm just too lazy to do it. Um, so I remember feeling this flipping in my brain, but the flipping and this zapping in my brain is what like triggered somehow my hovering above my body. And then and it was like, oh, this is really cool. This is really cool. I remember it was something about it's my memory's a little blurred, but it was something about that. And it was such a really cool insight to get about this because I hadn't realized that before. There's something about the brain zaps and the brain flipping feeling it's like my energy is, which there's no separate energy. I'm just playing pretend like there is. There's something about my energy is, I'm allowing my energy to expand more because I am not limited to this avatar, and I'm allowing that limitless to start to push through, and I'm physically feeling it inside. Like, it's something about that. My words are shit, and I just realized I'm like, oh, I should ask for help with my words, so I'm doing that now. But it's something along those lines. So that happened. And so I started feeling like I was hovering upward, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is what it feels like in other simulations when I'm hovering and flying. And then the next thing I know, I'm laying on my bed. My eyes are closed and I feel my legs. Now my avatar, my body did not move, but that's just it. We are not our bodies. So as much as I felt like my legs and my body was being lifted up and moving around, my actual physical body was completely still, but it did not feel like it. I could tell it was still, but it felt like my legs felt like they were. So essentially what happened was, again, and I've talked about similar stuff with a couple other times in other videos where similar stuff like this has happened, but this was a big step forward into, because before, so Erik, Archangel Uriel, in the past I've talked about in other videos, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I made videos talking about it, where I can feel him lifting my legs and moving them to the right and moving them to the left. Very similar with this. I could feel him, and I know it was him, which I'm one with, and we're all one with, and he's not separate from anyone, and it's all God anyway. I recognize that. I felt him lift my legs, and again, my body stayed still, but I was like, it's my legs. My legs were moving, because again, we're not, that's why, like, that whole thing with like the phantom limb stuff and whatnot, because we're not our bodies. The energy is, our energy is always there, and it can never be broken. So and our energy can feel, we can make it feel and look like a human body. And so he lifted my legs, and I'm trying to remember how this worked. My memory's a little blurry, but basically he lifted my legs and he started, I can't remember which way he started moving them, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a slight back and forth at first. And then I'm trying to remember which way. Sorry, just give me a second here. I'm trying to remember which way. I think, see, it must have been a forward flip, because I remember my head being back like this and going upwards. So it must have been, I just remember being like flipped in a circle. Now it wasn't like a strong, fast whoop. Like, it didn't make any sensation in my energetic stomach, which again, even when it comes to stuff like this, if there's any pain, fear, hurt, scariness, attack, that's still all illusion. It's just an opportunity for oneself to face what they're clinging to within and work on that. Face on truth, illusion, ego, shadow they're clinging to within. So just wanted to side note that. So this flip, it was not fast. It freaked me out a little bit, because I mean, I'm being flipped in a circle. And that kind of, because that was so like, normally I'm just pulled a little bit to the right and then back to the left, and like I'm just pulled, my legs are pulled up in the air and I moved back and forth. This time, like, I was literally flipped in like a full, like, head going down under my legs, flipping up over my head coming back up over and above my legs, like a full front forward flip. And I felt it, and I could see my room flipping. Like, I was flipping, not my room flipping, I was flipping, and I could see. So it was one flip. It wasn't fast. It wasn't, anything like that. It was tripping. It freaked me out a little bit, only because it was so much bigger than, like, my energy body was, more of what I truly am was being moved without my avatar in a way that was very big. So when I was repositioned, so I was flipped and then back in my original position, lying on my back. And then that's when my he held on to my, like, it was still through somehow my feet. But I could still feel him holding onto my feet. And then that's when, again, he moved my legs, like holding them up and moving or actually, no, this time he didn't move them up high. My legs weren't being held up. Right. My legs weren't being held up. I was laying flat, but I was being pulled. First, I was pulled a little bit. I think pulled left or right first. I can't remember, but left, then right, or vice versa. And then I was pulled in a full circle around my bed. So, like, my head starting up here and then slowly being pulled around like that back up into its original position. So I did a full 360. So I did a full 360 at first this way, and then after he moved my legs back and forth again a little bit, he then did a full 360. So I guess I did a full 360 vertically, and then I did a full 360 horizontally. And then I feel silly. And then, oh, you guys might not laugh like I am with this, but that's okay. I feel silly because then I remember having the thought, and then I do remember, okay, well, I'll get to that first. So I feel silly because I remember thinking to Erik, asking to be lifted upwards, because I wanted, again, that feeling of hovering up, and my mind was going flat body, going straight up, not clicking into, he was holding on to my legs and pulling me around and moving me around by my feet. And so I had that thought, and immediately my legs by my feet start going upward. and then he pulled them back down again. So I thank him for that. And I know we're laughing at that because I know he knows what I was thinking. And it's not that I was being denied because he wasn't wanting to do that for me. It's just, this was how we were working, and he was working with my feet, and so he pulled me, and again, I'm allowing this to happen this way too, so there's that element too. I allowed it to be pulled up by my feet. My legs and feet were going up, but my torso was staying on the bed. So he pulled my legs and feet up for me and then back down again, which I appreciate. And again, I also appreciate that too, because it was like I asked it, and it immediately, like, he did what I asked, and it was gentle and sweet, and it was up and back down, and we were good. I do remember feeling a little vibraty, and I remember, because at this point it was like my eyes were closed, but they also weren't. It's so hard to explain. I almost can't even tell if my eyes were open or closed. And I remember at one point purposely opening my eyes. And again, now I can't tell or remember if it was like my energetic eyes or my avatar's eyes. But I do feel like, 'cause I remember being like, whoa, because I remember opening my actual eyes, but I'm like tripping out. And I'm like, was I thinking it was my avatar's eyes, but it was just my energetic eyes? But I remember opening my avatar's eyes, and there was like, the walls that were around me were not, it didn't look like my bedroom. It was just I can't tell what color the walls were because it was so dark, but there was like black patterning on it, almost like a type of floral or like swirly kind of like leafy black design. So, like, and again, it was nothing scary, nothing bad. It just, and what I'm almost receiving about it is, it was just, I'm not sitting in an apartment right now. I'm in a blank canvas, and I'm painting it to look like this. I'm projecting outward an image and navigating through that. So I'm almost getting that this was just like, I was tapping into how I'm not in an apartment, and I'm starting to see that it's more of that limitlessness in a sense coming online, seeing that I'm not actually in this. It looks like it, but I'm not. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I remember opening my eyes and seeing the walls around me, and it did not look like my bedroom. But again, it didn't scare me. It didn't scare me. I was just like, oh, it was kind of just interesting. Um, I did feel a little bit of fear through this because the part that does scare me like the most with this, again, I know what the training is with it though, is I can't, for the most part, when these things happen, I'm not able to see who's doing it. I know it's Erik. I can tell, I know. It's just I can't see him, and because I can't see him and because these things are a little intense, I do kick into my own fear programming that I'm making up and clinging to when it comes to this. And I know part of the training, like, so part of it is because I'm still blocking myself from allowing myself to see him for various reasons, which I won't get into right now. It's all my own shit, nothing having to do with him. And plus I feel like I'm getting, he's smiling and I feel like he's nodding, about how it's also still training on just having faith and knowing that even when I can't see with these avatars' eyes, it doesn't mean that he's not there. Like, we're never alone. Just because you can't see doesn't mean they're not there. Like, we can't be separated. When we're home now, we're just playing pretend like we're not, and we're all one anyway. So definitely some training and opportunity to do self-work. Like, and that's just it. That's what I'm really feeling. It's like really just really big opportunity to go within and get to work on my mental cleanup on the things that do scare me about this. Which is, like I said, just, not being able to see him. It can get a little overwhelming. It's things I'm not used to, like my body being moved around while I'm laying there in bed at night, in and out of sleep, and meditative states and whatnot. And again, though, nothing ever hurts me. It's not actually scary. It's very gentle. It never pushes me past any kind of limit, so yeah, it was intense. It was intense, but it was really, really, really cool. And I'm really thankful. Oh my gosh, I think I might have had crusties. I'm sorry. I just like got up and sat down and turned my camera on without even thinking. But yeah, it was intense, but it was also really, 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 really cool. And I can feel, again, like I made a post that I wrote out yesterday. I have it posted on here and on my Facebook about the other night, how I felt, I was in a meditative state. Like, I was trying to meditate and connect before I fell asleep, and I was laying in the dark, and I could feel hands, like spirit hands, holding onto my wrists. Actually, they're being kind of gripped onto right now, actually. And like it literally feels like energetic hands holding onto my wrists. And it didn't hurt in any way. It actually almost felt comfortable. And it felt like I was being pulled forward. And I could hear, not necessarily in my ears, but more in my mind's ear, but I heard, "Come with us." And it was so cool because, again, I can feel, like, I couldn't see anything. Everything was dark, but again, it wasn't bad or scary. And again, dark isn't bad or scary. It's just, darkness isn't even real anyway. So, and I could feel how, again, it's like I'm crossing the rainbow bridge while occupying my body. Without the look of the death process, which, I mean, God knows I'll still go through a look of a death process. I just know that we're also melting the illusion of that away. And I'm going through an illusion. I'm going through a process of crossing the rainbow bridge while in my body. And like, I've tapped in and channeled with those who have gone through a transition process, and that whole like welcome home party thing, and which it's funny, I don't know how it works, because like we never actually left and we remember that like right away, but then there's also a blip where we do have a welcome home party and we're transitioning back. I don't get how it works, but anyway, I can feel how this is like, I'm being pulled home. This is my welcome home party. Like I'm in my welcome home party. Like my siblings, my soul siblings, my soul family, which we're all technically soul family. But they're trying to pull me home, which I'm already at, but like help me wake up. Like wake up, you're home, come to us. Like stop trying to run from us. We love you. You're here. Like come home, come home, come home. You're here. Like it was so like I'm like I cannot put into words how ethereal and how cool and how amazing, how to be able to experience that while in this, and this stuff's only going to get stronger. Holy shit. Like this is so cool, and I am so thankful. And I mean, I've been in quite a deep place of struggle and dark, heavy shit surfacing, a lot of anger, bitterness, misery, want for vengeance, revenge. A lot of that stuff's been surfacing for the past several weeks. I've been struggling with that, though. I push through as best I can, and I do even just a little bit of self-work every day. Like this is my job right now, is working on myself. And then whatever whichever, not whatever, sorry, whichever people choose to work with me, which I'm very thankful for. So whoever does, you know who you are. Thank you. I appreciate you way more than I can say. You guys are amazing. So with the exception of those who choose to work with me, like when it comes to my channeling and whatnot, my self-work is my job right now. Like this is what I'm to be focusing in on. And there's a lot of shit that I'm navigating through, and it can be in a strong illusion of fucking really difficult and a lot of struggle and feeling hopeless and pointless and not being able to see the light. But then I get moments like these, and it makes it all worth it. And I mean, like, all of it is worth it. I like anything where I'm judging, like, I don't like this and it hurts and blah, blah, blah. Like, that is stuff I'm working on, learning to, and because we're always technically what we truly are is always in gratitude for all of it. So working on being in that gratitude always, where I technically truly always am, I just do still play with the illusion of judgment with my ego with this stuff. And, I can be in the illusion of pain and sadness and hurt and loneliness. I am learning to embrace it, and each now struggling with it, and people who talk to me privately and even see my stuff publicly know I struggle with embracing these things and where I'm at, but I work on it. And it's moments like two of these that I've talked about, like other moments too. Like, yes, there's the like human moments that I live for. There's certain human moments I live for. With that though, I do live for these other moments. Like these moments are like, and I mean, it makes sense. This is what we're working towards bringing online, and holy shit. And I mean, yeah, like results of my self-work being put in. Of course I'm going to be living for this stuff. Like I'm thankful for this. This is what I'm working toward. I'm working on bringing this stuff online, and I'm starting to get results, like holy shit. So, maybe a little laughter. Spirit making jokes about holy shit. I'm not gonna go into all that right now. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. This can be a part of the process. Spirit, source, what you truly are, because that's part of, we're all one. Working with you and your body and your energetic body, trying to help you get used to the separation, the detachment of your body, the fact that you're not the body, the fact that you're not limited to your body. We aren't limited to these bodies. We're not limited to them. We can utilize them, and it can be a fun game, but we're not limited to them. So this can be a part of the process, and just as best you can, even through the fear, like don't deny the fear you're feeling. If you do feel fear, if you experience these things, if you feel fear, don't deny it. Like, don't deny it. With that, work through the fear and like acknowledge that you're feeling scared, but then work through it and recognize that what's working with you, you're one with, that it's love, that it's working for you. If you feel scared enough, you need to feel like you need to call for help, call for help. And generally, anytime I've done that, if something's started to get too intense for me and I call for help for it to stop, it stops immediately. I'm pulled out of it, because they're not going to push you past any kind of limit. You're not going to be traumatized. If you experience anything that's traumatizing, it's literally, and this can be a hard pill to swallow, but it's very important. I promise you, it's just your own metaphorical versions of your own illusion, ego, shadow that you're allowing to play out around you and within you. And it's just a really beautiful opportunity to do that self-work. And it's very important to recognize this, because when you indulge in it as real and you don't do the work on it, when you walk through the door with your ego on, that's when you get into things like psychosis and illusions of attack by demons and whatnot. Those demons are your own metaphors, but you can make them look and feel real. They're not. So this stuff's really important. So yeah, just, work through the fear. Don't resist it. Embrace where you're at. Recognize you're one with everything, that it's all loving, and it does like, if you ask for it to stop, like you're really wanting it to stop, it will stop. But I promise you, it's really cool, and it is loving. And talk with your spirit team, talk with God, tell them, like I've said to Erik, I've said to God, said to spirit, like, please be gentle with me, like work with me, but do it gently, because if you don't, it's going to scare the shit out of me. I'm working on that, because it shouldn't scare the shit out of me because nothing's actually scary. But if it's too much and too harsh and too fast, oh, it is going to be fucking traumatizing. If he had just popped in, just grabbed my legs and started whipping me around, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? So I've said, like, please be gentle with me, like, be gentle with me. And he's gentle with me. There was one moment, again, in this one, I do not know if this was in the astral, another simulation, whatever you want to call it, or in this. Still can't tell to this day. I'm not going to get into what happened. With that being said, it was extremely intense. It got to a point where I did call in for help, but the moment I did, I was pulled out of it. And again, I know, and I can feel, because nothing actually bad happened to me, and I was respected. My wishes and my requests were respected. So I know that was just the moment I called in for help. It's not that I was calling in something separate that to stop what was happening to me. It was Erik was there working on me. The moment it got too much and I did call for help, because I started questioning things, even though I knew it was Erik, he stopped, because he knew that was my signaling to him, okay, we're getting to a place where it's too much and we need to stop. And he respected that. Even with this, I was like, the moment I was like, can you hover me upwards? Pulled me up by my legs, but and then gently put me back down. And so talk with your spirit team, talk with God, talk with source, and just say, work with me, but do it gently. Do it gently. Don't scare me. Not that they would ever purposely scare you. That's not their intention. They don't want to scare you. See, I'm drooling now. So you can talk with them about that, and kind of set up those boundaries, if you will. And remember, again, everything that we go through in this, we've signed up for and agreed to already anyway. So yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you find that as cool as I do. And yeah. So all right. Well, thank you for watching, for listening, and I think that is everything. All right. Thanks, you guys. Honestly, I genuinely thank you. Like, I know that thank you I just said was like a little like not like I was kind of in a spacey place saying that. So, but like genuinely, I am genuinely saying thank you. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And I love you. And as always, have a wonderful now.